And from Springfest, it's George with DrinkinAZ. And we have as a special guest Krystal Bittner, the president of Arizona Society of Homebrewers, ASH. Krystal, how are you doing today?
Very well. Enjoying the great weather.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Perfect
Everybody's starting to mingle. We're here at the beginning of the Springfest. It's just starting to get going, and people are eating pulled pork and having beer for breakfast, right? Dogs running around, kids running around, get the blow-ups for the kids, and good time. So when everybody hears this, they'll know about a party that already happened. But yeah, we're happy to have you on. Krystal, been an ASH member for like 4 years, right?
Yes.
And now you're currently the president. Took over for Rob Fulmer.
Yes, since January. It's a quick ascent up the ladder.
Yeah.
If you volunteer and you're active, you can have this job in 2 years if you want it.
Nice to know. But obviously you're special. You know, people saw something in you and you know, made it happen. Tell us a little bit about ASH and what ASH is about. Kind of give us the nutshell of ASH.
ASH is one of the largest homebrew clubs in the country, definitely in Arizona.
Now, I thought we were the largest in the country.
There's a club in Seattle that's really debating it, but
really?
At the end of the year numbers, we end up higher. But throughout the year, they have a very strong 450. We won't hit 450 until July.
Till we get closer to Oktoberfest?
Yeah. Which
okay.
It's like the Springfest we're having today, but much larger.
Now, if everybody brought in a few members, that would be a different story, right?
And early.
Right?
Get your memberships early in the year. There's so many benefits to having your membership. On top of coming to Springfest, there's the discount program and our monthly meetings.
Okay, so tell somebody out there, a lot of our listeners are ASH members, but there's a few out there who aren't. So what would somebody expect if they came to an ASH meeting, and, you know, what are they getting for their $35?
So the ASH meetings are held the third Tuesday of every month. We usually have a pro brewer and a home brewer talk about the same topic. Mm-hmm. We've done a really good job of pairing people and topics the past couple of meetings. Our last meeting was about yeast. Mm-hmm. Our next meeting will be about saisons. Mm-hmm. So we cover a wide range of topics of homebrew. Okay,
so the next meeting will be about saison, and the first topic will be how do we pronounce that? Because I talked to a guy from Belgium. He said saison. Saison.
It's like croissant, only saison.
Yes.
So, but he must be from the French part of Belgium, not the German.
No, but awesome. So we have a calibration beer at the beginning of the meeting.
Every meeting.
And talk about that, right?
Yeah, so we all try the same beer. We'll talk about the strengths, the weaknesses, if it fits the style. Give the brewer any pointers or ask for his recipe if it's amazing.
Right. So I'm picking up an accent here. You're from the Big Apple?
Yes, I'm originally from Brooklyn.
Nice. So I was asking you earlier, what's a nice girl from Brooklyn doing in Arizona? You said not living in an apartment, right?
Yeah, not living in a 100-square-foot apartment anymore.
Right.
And then you get to enjoy the great weather. There's so many benefits to living in Arizona.
Right.
And one of them is this new craft beer scene we're getting, and being able to homebrew and have a garage instead of having to brew a small pot on my stove.
Right. So let's go with that a little bit. You're a home brewer, and one of the things that ASH has been working towards for the last couple of years is having a system that the members will be able to brew on. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that's definitely one of the club's goals. To achieve that, we're going to need to finish filing all our 501c3 paperwork. We're hoping to get a nice warehouse. Right now, the space we have, we're lucky to even have a space. Most clubs go to members' homes. There's not many members here that can even fit 100 people in their space. So we're lucky to have
100. I mean, we're at over 100, it seems like, at most of the meetings.
Every meeting is, they're more than 100. But yeah. So if we can get a warehouse, more people would come because the meetings would be less packed. Right. And then we can get a nice system. We can have multiple fridges. One we can always set at lagering temperature. So maybe if you can't lager at home, you know that there's one fridge that's set to the perfect temperature. You can just bring your keg there, and you know it's going to be your fermenter there. It's going to be
that'd be
fine.
nice. You could bring your carboy down and stick it in there, right?
Yeah, so that's one of the goals. Have a couple of fermenters set at certain temperatures. Have serving vats, being able to serve there, and get our own little nano system.
Nice. And then eventually have kind of like a club setting where we can serve beer to our own people, kind of be like the Elks or the Moose, have our own funny hats.
Funny hats would be fun.
That would be great.
But having a small bar that's just open for members maybe one day a week, because if we have the full nano license and we're legally producing the beer, it's not really to compete against the other breweries. What we're looking to do is have beer that we can serve at festivals and to serve to our own members. And so let's say if you're doing a wedding or something like that, you can't really bring homebrew into some of these commercial places, but you could bring a keg that was made at the clubhouse.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So BRI just entered the building. How you doing, man?
Hello.
So tell us a little bit about what's going on today. I know it'll be after the fact, but it'll give people an idea of what to expect at ASH events. I see food being served and I see beer all over the place. What's that all about?
So Springfest is our family-friendly, dog-friendly festival. Unlike most of the meetings, you can't bring your kids, you can't bring your dogs. So this is more. There's less education going on and more getting to know your fellow members, talk to them, enjoy their beer, have them tell you about it on a larger scale. It's a potluck. We are very fortunate that one of our members smoked 150 pounds of pork shoulder.
Wow.
In his backyard for everyone to enjoy. So hopefully everyone else brought a side dish that'll go well with that so that they can enjoy it. And then everyone brings their beer in kegs. Since this is a park, no glass allowed.
Right.
And
beer and mead, too.
Yeah, there's meads here. There's going to be some ciders. Every now and then there'll be a homebrewed root beer.
Awesome. And so we're going to take a break here, and when we come back, we'll talk more about the competition side of things. You're listening to DrinkinAZ, DrinkinAZ.com.
This is Adam with DrinkinAZ. I want to tell you guys about Sun Devil Liquors. This is a massive store that can serve all your beverage needs. They feature wine tasting every Thursday from their swanky cellar, beer tastings on Friday nights featuring 8 different beers on tap and a specialty on cask. You can pick out any bottle to mix and match, choose from over 350 kegs, 1,000 specialty beers, and over 1,500 imported or domestic wines. Check them out at 235 North Country Club Drive, Mesa, Arizona.
And from Kiwanis Park, DrinkinAZ, back with George. And we have joining us Angela Muniz here with Krystal Bittner. Yes, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the Springfest and the competition. Before we get going on that, Angela, you're from GFA Aprons?
Yeah, that's right. That stands for Girl from Arizona Aprons. I'm also the ASH communications officer.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. So I like beers, and I've been home brewing for about 2 years and just started an apron business about 6 months ago.
Nice. Now, are these aprons for brewers?
I do make a beer maker apron. They started out making aprons for chefs, custom aprons that would fit their personality with different pockets, hidden pockets, different strap styles, that type of thing, and in different colors, breaking away from those black and whites that you usually see. And they were popular, but I also love other things aside from food, beer being one of them, coffee another. And so I've started making aprons for those specific trades. So I just introduced a beer maker apron last month, and I've been having a lot of fun with it, and so far it's been pretty popular.
Where can people find these aprons?
They're online at gfaaprons.com.
gfaaprons.com. All right.
But the guys at Cartel are modeling them. They're using them every day, right?
That's right.
At Cartel Brewing.
Yeah,
Both
Chad and Matt. Yeah, and I've made one at Huss has one, although I don't know how much they wear it right yet.
Okay, well, we'll be out at Cartel in a couple weeks, so we'll keep an eye out for your aprons.
All right. Yeah,
That's
you'll
awesome.
see both styles there. The baristas have the barista style on.
Awesome. Well, hang on. If you don't mind hanging out with us for a minute, and we're going to talk about the competition here. It is a party, a festival, a get-together, and now this year, starting with 2014, it's a competition as well. The Oktoberfest is traditionally known as the big competition, but now, Krystal, this is kind of in addition to that.
So every year at Springfest for the last 6 years, we've had the Kolsch Cup, which is it's a memorial to one of our members that passed away, Mark Helms.
Right.
So every year they'd brew his favorite style, which was a Kolsch, and among themselves would award the best prize. So last year we made it a little bit more formal, and we had judging at the park live. But this year we decided, hey, let's just do a whole full-blown competition and pair it with the festival the same way we do our Oktoberfest.
Right. And we were talking before about that. I remember Mark vaguely, but I do remember the guy. And, we take care of our own here at Ash, and it's as much of a family as it is anything else, for sure. So the competition coming up, we're going to have the medals will be announced and everything will be awarded a little bit later on today.
Yeah, so this for
and
our
it's a full-blown BJCP competition?
All the categories, we had 200 entries. So we'll have lots of medals awarded. The Best of Show prize winner, this year we're going to do a Pro-Am with 4 peaks. So the winner gets to go to GABF and have their beard poured and entered into a special Pro-Am only competition.
Wow. And that's for Best of Show?
Yes, the Best of Show winner.
And I have a chance, Adam. I might, I have a snowball's chance in hell, but I have a chance because I have a couple porters in this. So that would be amazing. Krystal, have you ever won any awards in these competitions?
I've won a few. I submit to 4 or 5 competitions a year, but now that I'm more actively judging, I've entered less so that I can judge more categories and learn more. And
you're a BJCP judge. Your status is pending the grading of your latest exam, correct?
Yeah, I'm still waiting. Hopefully in 2 more months I'll start worrying about where my scores are, but I'm pretty confident that I did well.
Good. You think you might have a chance at nationally? What's the hierarchy? How's that go?
So you're recognized, right, when you pass first you pass the online exam that makes you eligible to take the tasting portion.
Okay.
Depending on your score on the tasting portion, you'll either be recognized or you can start moving up the ranks. You'll also have to have a certain amount of experience points actually judging. But to become national, you need to have at least an 80 combined score in the tasting and the essay portion. So Ash is hosting the essay portion in January. So that's the one I'll take, and I'll be studying for that.
Okay, so it's still the verdict is still out then. You can still become a nationally ranked judge.
After I take the essay.
Right. Awesome. Okay, and I know I studied for that, and I opted not to take it because it's too much right now. I got too much going on, but I can still judge alongside of people that are certified judges. So, what are some of the beers that a lot of people entered? Like, what do you see as the hot beers?
We always get lots of pale ales. We get a lot of IPAs. Everyone in Arizona loves those. Those are the 2 big categories. And also specialty beer. Specialty beer will get some of the most entries because everyone loves to add unique ingredients.
Right. And torture the judges.
Oh, yeah. But if you want to enter a low category that no one else enters, enter Vienna Lager.
Oh, yeah?
I don't think we had enough entries. I think we only had 2.
So if I were to enter a Vienna Lager and I was the only one, is it an immediate gold then, or you have to score
you
above a
still have
certain
to score
threshold?
above a certain threshold, but there will be less competition.
Nice. There you go, Adam. Brew Vienna Lager next time around. I tried that theory with Scottish Ale and it didn't work for me. Didn't do too well because Scottish Ale you have to kind of keep very cold when you ferment and age it into the right spot.
Well, I just got a Johnson control, so I should be able to control my temperature for lagering.
Does it say you can't control your Johnson?
No, I have plenty of control over that. It's fine.
All right, family show. The guys from Four Peaks, they actually helped judge this final round of the show, right?
Yeah,
the competition.
So they helped judge the best of show round. We had that on a separate day. The head brewer, one of the head brewers, and the owner showed up and tried every single gold medal of all the categories and slowly narrowed it down to the one that they were confident was not only very good, but that they were confident that they can go to GABF with it and win.
Wow. Now, Angela, you said you've been brewing for a couple of years?
Yeah, home brewing for a couple of years.
Have you entered any of these competitions?
I have entered a couple. The Queen of Beer brew out competition, which is in California, in August, September, and then the Ash competitions I always try to enter. Mostly, I know that I am not at the level that so many of our members are, but it's so good to get the feedback and be a part of it. That the more that I can just keep up with that and learn.
Nice. Now we got to get Katie involved in the Queen of Beer.
Absolutely.
I was talking to her about that, and we can talk a little bit about that. The Queen of Beer is a grouping of women, so the competition is amongst women, right?
It's a woman-only festival or competition, so women have to be the sole brewers of the beers. Men can help with the heavy lifting, but they're not involved in the recipes or in the brewing process. And we have a great Krystal has started to host a brew out for the last couple of years to prepare for that entry, and we've submitted at least a dozen entries from our members every year,
and that's one of the things.
Quite a few awards from it too. Yeah,
that's one of the things that got Julie Meeker into brewing, right? It was the Queen of Brew type stuff, and so you're going to do it? Yeah.
At least we always say, at least come and watch. It's a great experience. Men are included at the brew out too. We let them take care of the food, and we do all the brewing. Yeah. But it's a fun gathering, and it's a great chance to learn. If you are thinking about brewing, you can go and get a lot of experience and a lot of support, and meet other women brewers too. I mean, I think we have some different perspectives on how the recipes go together, what kind of beers we like, and it's a fun time, very comfortable.
When did the shift? At what point did this become like the women, running the asylum here? I mean, you have a homebrew club. And we're going to talk to some of the founding members of Ash here in a bit, and they're going to tell a different story about when it first started, and it was like all guys. But at one point, we made a shift, and now it's like very women inclusive.
Our volunteer force is mostly women. They come out, they help. They're the ones that step up. They're the ones that are staying later. This is just what we're finding. Mm-hmm. We're keeping better numbers, and we're tracking a little bit better. It's great to have everyone involved. It's nice that this is not just the old guys club.
Right.
So, and that women feel safe drinking and brewing and going out together. So.
Yeah, they feel relatively safe. They're not.
They don't want us to forget that they rule the world.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
You get too many guys together in one group, and then you got to have a reason not to pass gas and be disgusting, right?
Yeah.
You get too many of them together, and they don't mind their P's and Q's. So it's nice to have some women in there as well.
I've met some women that can throw out a pretty good fart every once in a while. So.
Well, that comes later. That's advanced membership. I see some other guests that are here that we're going to be talking to shortly. We got William Hampton and got the guys from BRI, and really looking forward to having a good time with the family and hanging out and drinking. And I just want to thank you for this club and for everything that it's brought to all of us as members. And we're going to do what we can to promote it, and we hope likewise. And thanks for coming out.
Well, have a great time.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right.
Thanks for coming, guys.
All right, we're going to break now. This is George with DrinkinAZ.
Hey guys, this is Katie with DrinkinAZ. Home and small batch brewers don't look any further than brew gear. Get your locally produced brewing equipment from Brew Gear, with a full range of kettles, fermenters, and systems from 5 gallons to 7 barrels. Brew Gear sells directly to the customer, allowing you to get the system of your dreams for a fraction of the cost. Brewgear.com.
And we're back. DrinkinAZ, George Lindblom here at Springfest, sitting with 3 of the old-timers from Ash. From across the way here, we got Dale Roth.
Howdy.
Say hi, Dale. All right.
Oh, hi, Dale.
Barry Tingleff.
Welcome.
And Scott Bartmann.
Hey, everybody.
And the reason we pulled you over here is you guys are part of the original, how many members were the original group?
I think there was 12 of us originally.
12?
Yes.
Started this club in 1995, right?
Correct.
One of you tell me a little bit about that first meeting and what that was all about. And how did that first meeting even come to be? Do you remember? Do you have any details on that?
Yeah, we started out as people that used to buy their ingredients, which were very minimal ingredients at the time, at Brewers Connection when it was down on Baseline in McClintock.
Okay.
And what was his name?
Jeff.
It
Jeff,
was a
yes.
Jeff
Adams and
Jeff Adams,
Yes.
was the original owner. He and Zach Hilgers decided they were going to put a homebrew club together, and we sort of signed up on a sheet, and then they had a connection to what then was the Point South Mountain.
Okay.
The food and beverage manager there said, hey, you can use our facility, which at the time was probably really not according to Arizona law, but we used to meet at what was called the Eagle's Nest. And
Okay.
it was a little private banquet area up above the sports bar. Yeah.
Outdoors, and it was the best place to have a meeting.
It was great. Except in the summer when it was 115 degrees out. It was a little warm. But we did that for about the first year and a half maybe. And we actually had our first Oktoberfest there.
Nice.
There was a large group having a big wedding, so they put up a large tent. And they said, by the way, this tent's going to not be taken down until Sunday, so if you guys want to have a festival there, you're welcome to use it for free.
That was the first Oktoberfest?
That was the first Oktoberfest. We probably had, maybe 50, 75 people?
with beer.
Yeah, and we thought we were golden.
We were.
Yeah, at the time it was cool. And we were nowhere near as diverse as we are now, but
Right.
it was mostly guys. I'm not sure.
Any
if there
women
was-
at all?
I'm not sure if there was any women
There
that
was-
first couple of years.
Well, the first, we had a meeting at the Point, and they would put the women at one table and have a tasting and tell them how to taste beer. And
Oh, that's right. They were like the brew wives.
yeah, yeah. And that's how
right.
they learned about it. And we never got to do that.
No.
And this is back in you were saying that you all were going off of Charlie Papazian's book, The Joy of Homebrewing.
Yep.
And were any of you all grain brewers at this point?
I was.
Yeah?
I probably was on my second or third batch. I got beyond steeping grains and stuff pretty quickly.
Yeah, I didn't do that for long.
No. Well, the malt extract that was available back then was not the best stuff in the world.
Mostly canned?
Yeah, all canned.
All canned?
Matter of fact, Brewers Connection, probably 75% of their inventory was cans of malt just lined up on the shelves, and maybe a half a dozen different specialty grains.
Right.
So you really, it was hard to brew from all grain back then. Probably within a year and a half, 2 years after that, it kind of flip-flopped, and all of a sudden they had tons of grains, and the malts kind of went away, the malt syrups.
What do you think caused the flip? When did things start to take off?
Oh, probably
was the thing that brought that on?
96, what brought it on? I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess the fact that people were going, okay, this was okay, but that doesn't taste like, what I'm trying to brew. It was really sort of, mostly had a lot of winey flavors to it and just a lot of off flavors that we didn't know what was causing at the time, because there was no such thing as the BJCP in Arizona. There was no judges around
Yeah.
to
Right.
tell us what we were doing wrong.
Home brewing was growing at the time, so that's what brought around to a lot of the companies making good grains for home brewing.
Yeah, probably availability.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
As it showed up,
And
we'll
when-
use it.
And when the people want it, that's when they'll produce it for
Yeah.
you.
And what kind of changes have you seen when you sit here and look at what we got going on today, and with Oktoberfest and the holiday party? What are some of the big changes that you've seen in the club?
No, just the sheer size. I mean, we went from 12 to 500.
In our first years, we struggled to have enough money to run this club, and we did everything we could. In fact, we even went through an embezzler from the first year. So
Yeah. From that Oktoberfest,
yes.
actually.
We survived it.
Wow. And now you've branched out, and some of you have gone on to go into the beer industry and the mead industry. As a result of this, is the club been instrumental in that for you think?
Oh, most definitely. I would never have been the rep for Oak Creek Brewing Company without being in this club.
Yeah, and you're
Very indirectly, but still a definite reason for it. I mean, I'm a sales rep in the picture framing industry, and I used to hang out at Oak Creek whenever I was up north, and got to know the owner, Fred, of the brewery. And one time Ron Cloth from Papago stopped and said, "Hey, Fred's looking for a sales rep. Why don't you call him?" So I called him. We had maybe a 5-10 minute conversation on the phone. He goes, "Okay, when do you want to start?"
Nice.
Because he knew I was a beer geek, and he needed somebody out there in the field that could talk about beer and knew what the styles were and knew what they were trying to do, and just kind of blossomed from there.
And what's Oak Creek's distribution at this point?
Arizona. We're 100% Arizona.
100% Arizona?
Yep.
And so you're the man up in Flagstaff, and
I cover the whole
middle of the
state, so
the
yeah,
whole thing?
it's we're 6,000 barrels a year, so we're probably not going out of state anytime soon.
Any plans for expansion?
Yes. Down the road, we'd like to open up a brewery somewhere down in this part of the valley, because there's nothing in Sedona that's big enough as far as a square footage building, because there's no real industrial park there. I mean, it may not come all the way down to the valley. It may be Cottonwood, it may be Camp Verde, but somewhere closer and bigger.
Nice.
Because we're at 100% capacity right now, and there's no room for growth. We're just working our brewers to death.
Right, and
So-
it's all part of the renaissance of Arizona. I mean, anybody who's fairly competent, it seems like, is doing their best to keep up with demand. And Scott, you have a background in the brewing industry as well. You were a professional brewer at one point and getting ready to take another foray into mead this time, right?
Yes, I did. When I lived in Milwaukee, I did some brewing at Lakefront Brewing Company, and then my main goal when I moved to Arizona was to start my own brewing company. But a few years after I was here, I was hired at Arizona Roadhouse and Brewery as their original brewmaster. So I did brewing there. Their doors closed. I did some brewing at Copper Canyon with Jared Gant, and now we have the meaderies just starting. So we'll see where it goes from there.
And so why mead?
There's only one other meadery in Arizona, and they're the brewing companies are just going crazy, and it's hard to even get hops nowadays with the amount of hops that you need. And so, with one other meadery in the state, we're going to be the second one, and it'll be a lot easier, I think, to get a stronghold on a business instead of trying to jive in with all the.
So you see a clear path to ease of startup with a
lot
meadery.
less competition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, and Barry, you're a big meadster yourself.
Yeah, I've been brewing mead since about 95, 96.
And it's kind of a subset of the homebrewing club here. I know we had mead night a year ago, and I barely made it home. I think I had to call a cab.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
It's all Dale's fault.
I know.
So is the mead group, is it kind of like a little sub club within the group of the mead guys?
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because it's some of the old guys, but a lot of the young guys too. Because it's easy to make. You don't need a lot of equipment. It just takes a lot of time. So it's kind of one of those things you do in between beers. It's kind of like the old wine saying, it takes a lot of good beer to make good wine. It takes a lot of good beer to make a lot of good mead too.
Okay, so something to do in your downtime.
Right. A mead's a 6 month to a year process, whereas a beer can be a 6-week process.
Now, do you boil your mead?
I don't boil the honey itself, but I boil the ingredients prior to.
Okay.
And then add the honey into the hot liquid to pasteurize.
Okay, because some people do boil the honey, and
Right.
and there's a
That's how I started. I used to boil.
different schools of thought on that.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I really want to pasteurize it. I want to keep all those aromas and flavors as bright and fresh as you possibly can. So the more you boil it, I mean, if you can smell it in the air, that's not in your glass.
Right. Scott, what's your approach at mead going to be? Anything that sets you apart?
Well, yes, I've always had things that set me apart, and and I do have my own methods for making it. I share a lot of my methods. I don't share all of the methods, and mead has a lot to do with chemistry. And if you want one to come out tasting good and different from what everybody else can make, you have to follow certain processes and know a lot about chemistry. So I have shared a lot of my ideas on how to make mead with everybody, but not every little single thing.
You holding out on us, Scott?
We weren't listening.
Not every
Really?
idea. Yeah.
Damn. Really?
No, not really.
The truth comes out.
He's going to put in some yeast.
Yeah, we'll just get him drunk and we'll get all those secrets anyway. He's easy. He's lying.
All right. Before we get going here, any funny stories from the past all these years? You got to have something for us.
Oh my God.
I served mead at that first Oktoberfest.
Did you really?
I called it ostrich piss.
That went over good, huh?
Yeah. No, I was next to the guy with the tiger beer.
Well, I can give you a story about how the club almost went away.
Okay. We'll take it.
We did that first Oktoberfest at the Point, South Mountain, and our president, to be unnamed, basically absconded. Yeah, absconded with all the money from the club. And at the end of it, we thought we'd have, $400 or $500. We thought we were rich. We were a small club. We had nothing. Our bank account was zero. And it ends up he had taken the money and decided that was his, I guess, compensation in his mind for what he had done to start the club.
Okay.
He was the first president. And come to find out, Zach got into a group of fly fishermen about 5 years later. The same guy had done the exact same thing to the fly fishing club here in Arizona.
Oh, really?
And so far, he's never popped up again since then.
He was doing alarm systems in
Yeah.
Scottsdale. Somebody got their
Oh.
house done.
Alarm systems.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that was his day job. But he was, he's very instrumental in getting the club going. I mean, we probably wouldn't have been a club at all without him. But then to turn around and burn us like that, it was like, what the?
Wow.
What are you thinking? And he never showed up at another club meeting. The weird thing about it was, for the first year, he used to tell us about all these great beers he made, but he never brought a beer to any meeting, any event. So we don't know exactly what his story was. He was kind of like this mystery man at the end.
So he never really brewed.
No, but he said he did. I mean, he used to talk about how he was, back in England, because he was British. How he had brewed all these great beers, and he'd worked for one of the big breweries back there, and we're not sure any of that's true.
Gotcha.
But we learned to tie a mean fly, man. One meeting, it was all about fishing. We're like, what is going on?
He was out of material. He had to bring something from the other
Exactly.
club. Any beers in this competition or meads in this competition today, Barry?
No, I've been in the process of remodeling our kitchen, so I haven't brewed since October. So just 2 weeks ago, first time I got the brew.
Oh, okay.
Had a serious brew day. I did my first barrel batch. I did Dunkel, an American Pale Ale, and a mead.
One barrel
mead.
and split it out?
No, I did 12 gallons of each.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I did back-to-back beers, and while I was waiting for the first mash to be done, I did a mead.
Very good.
So
Scott, got anything in this competition?
No,
No?
nothing at all.
Dale?
no horses in this race,
I
Dale?
got nothing.
We're getting old, man. Jeez.
You're letting the young guys have a shot at it, I guess. Letting the
Oh, yeah.
newbies.
Once I got a medal, I was like, oh, I'm done.
What'd you
got
win a
me
medal
some-
for?
I got a silver for a Scottish ale. There was no gold in the category, so I was clearly the first loser.
The first
All right.
runner-up.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure having you guys on, and thank you for everything that you've done to help bring this club into existence so that everybody today can enjoy the fruits of your labor. So thank you for all the wisdom and everything that you give us. And we'll look forward to seeing you at the next meeting.
Thank you.
All right.
We'll be
All right,
there.
guys. This
Good
is
time.
George from DrinkinAZ. We'll talk to you later.
Hey, this is Dunk from the Dunk Tank. Did you know Tops Liquor has over 2,000 wines in stock from all over the world and over 2,000 spirits? There's huge selections of rum, tequila, scotch, vodka, you name it, they got it. And did I mention beer? Over 2,000 varieties of craft beer from Arizona and all over the world. So come next door to the Taste of Tops, where you can always find at least 25 very special beers on tap and hundreds of beers by the bottle. Come on down to Tops and you'll never want to leave. That is, until your wife tells you to come home.
And back from Springfest, DrinkinAZ. This is George and Adam, and we've got Keevin Simpson and William Hampton on board with us. How you doing, guys?
Good.
Good. We're a few beers into this thing now, so conversation should be nice, loose, and interesting. We were talking before about Keevin. You've been on the show before, and you're kind of noted for your interesting beers that you do. And you have recently had your logo done up and everything for Sacred Brewing.
Yes, I have.
And you're currently going through a brewing school.
Correct.
So, what's the ETA on when we're going to be able to go down to Sacred Brewing and buy a pint?
Realistically, I'm hoping 2 years,
Okay.
just to be safe. Currently going through the American Brewers Guild program. I'll be completed with that in June. Still doing my normal job, which is architecture. And hopefully start working towards getting some internships at breweries, and then starting working on the getting capital and focusing on where I want to be specifically and what I want
That's
what I want
awesome.
to do.
And for those of you who don't know, the hanging out with ASH members is a lot of this. A lot of people talking about their passion and their plans moving forward. And this really is the cradle of the incubator of greatness in the Arizona craft brew movement. You can go around and there's a connection between the members past and current members, and the most prolific brewers that are out there today. So this is really where it all starts. And it's conversations like this, and people like Keevin who are accomplished in what they do. You know, Keevin has a knowledge of herbs, herbology, and so forth, and has a different take on brewing beer altogether. Tell us about some of the more interesting beers you've made over the years.
Well, yeah, I have a background in herbology, so I like to do more traditional beers from back in the day, where they would do Groot ales that we talked about before, where they use herbs instead of hops, and that was before.
When you say tradition, you're speaking pre-tradition to what we know as traditional.
Yes. For me, traditional, as in anywhere from the 1300s to 1500s.
Are you a practicing druid by any chance?
No.
No?
Buddhist, but not druid.
Okay.
No. But no, yeah, using herbs in the beers for bittering, which is what they used to do before hops became prevalent, and using them for their flavoring profiles and their bittering profiles. So I like to do hopless. I've done hopless IPAs where I've used a bunch of different herbs like yarrow and elderflowers and gentian and all these different herbs for bitterness and flavoring. And I also like to do different, more in tune with the history was like I do a Celtic beer that's all herbs that are revered by the Celts. I do an Egyptian beer that would be herbs that they would utilize and would have utilized.
And you've done beers that were revered by Simon and Garfunkel.
Yes, I have. Yes. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme.
Yes.
My Scarborough Fair.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my kind of my Thanksgiving pale ale, basically. So, yeah, I just like to come up with something different. I don't like brewing the style. I like to try different things, and hence what we were talking about earlier. That's why they always call me 23. I'm usually in the specialty category.
If you enter it all.
If I enter it all, yeah.
And
I
you're
used
not
to.
entered today.
No.
So you're like you're out there.
Very out there. Yes. Out of the box.
Out of the box. Too far out of the box for most people.
Yeah.
Which I think you're gonna when you get it all together and you're ready to take it forward, I think is gonna work for you.
I hope so. I think I see a lot of people. I mean, we've seen it more around the U.S. Different breweries trying different things. I'm seeing it more in Arizona brew culture too. Arizona Wilderness is trying a lot of different things. I know a lot of the new breweries are getting ready to come out or trying different beers and different things, using different spices and things you wouldn't think about.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really what takes craft brew to a different level, is really thinking outside the box and trying these different flavor profiles and seeing how they work. And if they turn out, they turn out different. It's not your regular old beer.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a regular old amber. It's got some specialty characteristics and something that just sets it apart. So.
Awesome. So when did you decide you wanted to be a brewer? How long has this been going on for you?
Honestly, when I first started brewing, I really liked it, and probably in the first year. So I've been brewing about 5 years now. So probably about 4 years ago, I really started thinking about doing it full time and what I needed to do. The program I'm in right now, it took me 2 years to get into the program, so I've been waiting for 2 years to get into this program.
Nice.
So and then just trying to figure out exactly what that means, because I'm also vegan, so implementing maybe vegetarian vegan food with that, or if I just want to do a brew just a production brewery. So
yeah, since you brought that up, what are the characteristics that make vegan beer?
Well, vegan beer does not utilize animal findings. So finding is something that makes the beer clarify. So you wouldn't do gelatin. You wouldn't do isinglass, which is fish bladders.
Irish moss.
Moss is perfect, and I think better in my opinion.
So me brewing at home using Irish moss, then I'm brewing vegan.
Yep. Now and then some. A lot of vegans don't do honey. So I've kind of started doing honey again. I'll do, of course, more raw honey, organic honey.
Mm-hmm.
But
lactose.
Yeah, no lactose. That's the other thing.
Oh, okay.
Lactose. So milk stouts and things like that are also off the
So
list.
bees count as,
because you're utilizing them.
Right.
A lot of honey producers, they actually kill the bees off after the season.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just cheaper for them. Whereas organics, because they have to be certified, they don't have to kill them off.
Okay.
So that's why I feel okay or more comfortable using organic honey now.
Okay.
And for a lot of my more traditional in my respect beers, like a winter solstice that I do, these like Druid or Gaelic beers, they would have used honey or something like
Right.
that. So I still use honey in beers like that.
Okay.
So I have a honey lavender beer though that I actually use a vegan honey. It's actually a blend of brown rice syrup and different flavorings that seriously taste like honey. So,
so it's
I'll
a
do
substitute.
that. Yeah, so I'll do that and like that, and I can call it a vegan beer.
Wow.
So
We got beer for everybody.
yeah.
That's crazy. Now, William, who happens to be a neighbor of Keevin's, you guys live somewhat close to each other and kind of buddies, and you're an up-and-coming brewer here on the scene. You're a home brewer, and then you're also making the switch into commercial.
Yes, I'm switching over and brewing with Mother Bunch Brewing with Julie Meeker.
Right.
We're going to be downtown Phoenix off of 7th Street, just south of Roosevelt on the east side of the road, the old Bayless building. It's been an interesting switch over.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm brewing homebrew, I don't worry so much about a lot of the fermentation schedule. I really focus on the recipe itself. I worry about what grains are going in, what hops, what yeast. And what I've learned for commercial is I really have to worry about my fermentation, which is great because Julie is fantastic with fermentation.
Mm-hmm.
So she's doing a lot of our cellaring, a lot of our fermentation now. I just tell her my basic idea for the end concept, and we work together.
And you've got a 7-barrel system coming online, right?
Yes, we do. The 7-barrel is on its way, hoping to arrive in May.
And how are you ready for that jump to?
I'm working towards transitioning right now. I'm very fortunate that I know a lot of people in the industry, so a lot of different people are letting me brew on their systems.
Good. That's good to hear. All right, and so when is Mother Bunch going to be opening up here?
We're looking at a June opening. So
Okay.
Mid-June is the expected, but you never know with construction delays. But
Right.
we've been very fortunate. We're actually ahead of schedule. We're right where we want to be.
All right, well, they're announcing the winners of the home brewing competition here, so we're going to go over there and check that out, and we'll be right back with DrinkinAZ. And we're back at Springfest with DrinkinAZ. This is George, along with Adam, and we've got dropped in to see us today is Jared Dubina. Is it Dubina or Dubina? Dubina, right?
It doesn't. Either way works for me.
Right?
But if my grandfather was here, he would say Dubina.
Dubina, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so my gut's telling me the right thing here. And you have had some exciting stuff going on lately. You had your equipment delivered, correct?
Equipment delivered, that's correct, and doing all the construction. We're about, I would say, close to 50% done with the construction of everything, and we're just waiting for licensing and moving
And this
forward.
is going to be for Dubina Brewing Company. And where is the location?
67th and Bell. It's just north of the intersection.
Okay, what do you got? Who are your neighbors?
Hungry Howie's Pizza.
Okay.
And there's a pool supply place and another, I think, insurance. But
yeah. That's where like AAA is over there, right? Or is that the site?
It's the side with Batteries Plus.
Okay.
We're right behind Batteries Plus.
Nice.
Yeah, and then BevMo's across the street, which is a plus. So.
Right. And you're going to be the first battery-powered brewery.
And you guys are doing, you're a brew pub or just brewery?
Brew pub.
Okay.
We're working with the county right now on getting the food
so
and
we'll be able to get there, taste your beer on site,
get some
eat
food.
a little food.
Oh, tell us a little bit about the food, because you were tight-lipped about that last time we talked.
Yeah, we're planning on doing some sandwiches, like almost deli style, and doing some other Czech-style foods that are the issue that we're running into is that we're very tight with our funds because it's basically our Kickstarter and our family funded. So we're starting out our kitchen small. But Maricopa County came in and they said they want to double look at everything. So they don't know about, they're questioning about the brewing and the food in the back. They may have us segregate it in order to do it. So we're just trying to figure all that out.
So you just have some details to work out?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Salads, sandwiches.
Exactly, very
and
simple.
what qualifies as Czech food?
Well, so we researched it. And one of the awesome things is Czech, they take, I believe it's is it bruschetta? Basically I don't know if that's the right word, but the bread, small pieces, they top it with either like a cream cheese or some type of spread, and then they'll lay the meat on top. So they'll have pepperoni, salami, cheeses. It's just on top, and it's a finger food, but you can do so much with it. There's hundreds of variations of it. So we'll probably offer about 8 different ones, and you can pick and choose and, just have an appetizer.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Adam, you're from the land of cheese.
Well, yeah. And then Katie recently went to Czech Republic, and so there was a lot of cheese food items.
Cheese.
Fried cheese?
That is a delicacy there. Fried cheese. Best thing ever.
Yeah, so, I mean, that sounds great. It sounds like a cheesy, like, bruschetta. Yeah. I mean, it's...
Yeah.
That sounds cool, though.
Awesome. Like Cornish pasties, little, ethnic variations like that do really well. Finger foods that go well with beer.
Yep.
And you still plan, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire still. That'll be my job from day one here, of doing some lagers, right?
Lagers, absolutely. We're working on it. It's everything that we're doing is focusing on how do we get that done. So
awesome.
We're not shying away, and we're not going to back up from that. So we're definitely everything centered around that.
Have you spoke to the gentleman over at Gordon Biersch?
Have I spoken to them? No. Have I been in there? Absolutely.
Yeah, you should talk to. I can tell you offline his name. I have it, but don't recall it right now. But he is a really friendly guy, and you can't deny that he's the number one lager brewer here in Arizona in the current day. So awesome. Well, big things coming from Dubina Brewing, and we're looking forward to having you on the show here in a few weeks. I would like to come out and take some pictures of the progress that you've made so far, and we can go from there. And then, we're hoping that we get an invite to the grand opening here in June-ish.
June-ish,
sometime.
July.
Yeah.
That's what we're shooting for.
He's already saying July, folks.
We want June, and we can build it to June. Licensing is what's holding us back.
Right. The man's getting in the mix. All right. So, again, thanks, Jared, for coming in, and we're going to talk about what we've been doing here today. Adam?
Yeah.
The Springfest, what do you think?
It's great. My first Springfest, for sure. And, there's a great turnout. I've heard that this is not as big as Oktoberfest, the Oktoberfest Ash event, but, I think it's a great turnout. The weather's great. The beers I've tasted so far are great. I don't think I got around to I probably got around maybe 5 or 6 or different ones. But,
right.
So maybe after we're done, I'm gonna check out a couple other ones. But I know
the guys from Four Peaks got here, and I think they brought beer, is what I was told.
Great.
So there
we
should be a
try
lineup
that.
of Four Peaks.
I know
beer as
Greg
well.
Sorrells came by.
Yeah.
From Beer Research Institute, brought by some of their beer that they're testing out. He had a farmhouse ale.
Yep.
Which was really good, and a Belgian blonde.
The Lolly.
Really liked both
what he
of
called
them.
it. Yeah.
So I can't wait for them to open up so I can get some of that stuff. Regularly.
Yeah. I think we're associating ourselves with breweries that are coming up that are going to make it. They really seem really sincere, but they have a lot behind them as well. So
they're working so hard. I mean, that's the one thing I think I'm noticing from all these talking to all these different breweries that are opening up is that there's a lot of work that needs to go into to open up that brewery.
Right.
And it's amazing to me, all the hoops they got to jump through, and just hoping that they can actually get it done so we can enjoy more beer.
Absolutely. Katie?
Yeah?
Katie, how you doing over there?
I'm doing fantastic.
Excuse me.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
That means you're doing fantastic, too.
Yeah.
That was not a sound effect.
No. That was a true burp.
I didn't want to waste that. I figured I'd do it right into the microphone.
All right.
No.
So how's it been going for you?
Good.
Yeah?
Springfest has been great. Lots of great beers, great people. Fun time.
So what do we have coming up here in the next couple weeks? We have Ground Control coming up.
Right.
We're going to be meeting with King James Swan and Ian from Ground Control and another gentleman from Caballero. I don't recall his name. Right
You said these are all West Side locations, which is great because I think the West Side is probably lacking on the side of availability as far as craft beers go.
Right.
So I'm excited to hear about them and get to taste what they got. So
well, they're underrepresented, but there's nature abhors a vacuum. So you see these new breweries like Dubina coming up on the West Side.
Yep.
So
I'm excited because we live on the West Side and there's not enough craft beer over there.
Yeah.
Not nearly
so our only
enough.
option right now is Old World Brewery.
That's the closest to
and
us.
They're okay.
Yeah. They're not even west, are they?
They're not really. It's more like South Phoenix, South Central Phoenix. But that's not too far from where we're at.
Right.
And they have good stuff, but they don't really have food going on. So I mean, if you want to really go out, have a couple great beers and some food, you can't get both.
Right.
So.
Well, Ground Control has quite the tap list. If you saw that on DrinkinAZ,
I did.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I saw them
for
actually
that.
a couple times before we even started, making plans to go there, and I've wanted to check them out. So I'm really excited about that show coming up.
Awesome. All right, so we got Sticks playing in the background
Sticks
here.
in the background. We got the raffle coming up. I'm hoping to win a corny keg.
We better win that
another
corny
keg so we can keep kegging our home brews.
I'm going for the bottle counter pressure filler.
Yeah.
I'm a bottling guy.
Still bottling, yep.
Yes. Yeah.
You got to get to the kegging. It's so much easier.
It is.
It really
you don't have any
is.
problems with carbonation that way. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you could over-carbonate.
Yeah,
I think I've had
you
some
can still.
over-carbonation issues, but
it's a
about
lot easier.
Getting it into the bottles so that you can get it into the common man's hand.
Yeah.
I'm not a bourgeois beer drinker. I don't save it all for myself. I like to spread
We
it
are
around.
pretty stingy with our beer,
Yes.
that's for sure. We
Whatever.
like to drink
we
it
would
up.
bring anyone to our house to try our beer.
Yes,
that's
everyone's welcome, that's for sure.
Everybody's welcome to try our beer. We're just lazy.
I'm looking for ways to travel with it better, though, too, which, after seeing here at the Springfest, there's a lot of people have coolers that are set up to hold the corny keg.
Right.
And
well, have you
I
seen
can make
the
that happen,
lid
so.
that goes on top of the 2-liter soda bottle? It's got a ball lock on top of it.
No.
Yeah. So check
That's
that
cool.
out. Yeah.
Because right now we're bottling from the keg and like taking a growler and putting it to the keg, and that's how we travel with beer. So
Yeah.
it'll be nice to be able to do some of the other stuff and be able to come
Right.
with our home brews and.
So,
Right.
question for you, Katie, with the Queens of Quaff coming up, are you going to be doing this? Going to be participating?
I may just watch this time.
No, come on.
I'll try. How about that? I'll try. I'll do my best.
There is no try. Do or,
I'm just
do
not
or do not.
sure-
There is no try.
I'm not sure
Yes.
I've quite done enough on my own to be confident in it, but I'll put a beer in. How about that?
Yeah.
I will put a beer in. I'm saying
Yeah.
it now.
There you go.
You can do that.
Yeah. It may not be very good, but I'll do it.
Yeah,
I think since you like wheat beers, do a wheat beer.
I'm gonna do the wheat beer we have in our keg
do
right
a
now.
wheat beer,
That's
and
my
then
plan.
maybe think of a way to
I'm going
spice
to
it up a
enhance
little
it a
bit,
little bit,
enhance
yeah.
it, make it your own.
Make
yeah.
it mine.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do it. When is it?
I don't know. We'll have to get with
in the
them.
future. It's
We'll get with
coming
the
up.
ladies and find out.
All we know is that we're gonna hold you accountable to participate.
I will have a beer brewed by that time.
Yes, and I will have a beer by that time.
Yes, good.
Yes.
Good.
All right. Anything to add here?
No, I think this has been a great experience, and looking forward to the next Ash event, which would be Oktoberfest, right? Is the next big fest that they do, right?
That's the next big one, yeah.
So we got a little while to wait.
Yep. So until then, I'm going to go grab some pulled pork and have a beer.
Okay.
Sounds
All
like a
right.
plan.
All right.
All right. Geo out. DrinkinAZ.com.